Okay. I'm screen recording, so please do not yell out. Alright. Hopefully it doesn't do that thing where it unfocuses the whole time. I will kind of start over here. Now, if you want to use your cup to kind of trace the circle shape, that's very helpful. You're all going to have a palette, a cup, a watercolor set, a nice little brush, a paper towel. Yep, we're getting all of that today. So, first of all, let's see. The first method that I'm going to show you, it's actually, we'll call it like the wet on wet full water method. Now this is just a practice paper, so I'm going to combine scribbles here and there with actual spheres everywhere, so eventually it's just going to be covered. So I want to have an area that I'm going to lay down the graphite where I can grab the graphite from. Okay, so I'm going to put it there. I have my water here. I'm going to take my brush, swirl in my water. I'm going to take that water and I'm just going to quickly fill in the sphere with the water. Okay? Then I'm going to dip my brush again. I'm going to activate the graphite and then I'm going to come in. I'm rinsing my brush quickly, wiping it off. And I'm going to pull the graphite up, going side to side. And if I have too much, I wipe it off on the paper towel. I come in with a drier brush and use that to spread the remainder. Wipe off my brush, spread the remainder. Okay? Or remainder. So, now it's not dark enough on the bottom, right? So I'm going to come back in. I'm going to bring, if I can get it darker, bring more in and start to slowly kind of lay that down. And then I can rinse my brush off, wipe it off, and use a drier brush to kind of spread it around a bit, pull it up, okay? And I think I'm going to need fresher graphite to lay in some really dark areas. So I'm going to get a bunch of that. There we go. Now I'm getting some real heavy shadow. Okay? Then I'm going to rinse my brush off. It's still wet though. And I'm going to take that wet brush and I'm going to start pulling this stuff around. And I'm just trying to manipulate it to the best of my ability. Okay? If I want to pull in a shadow, do something different. I can take a wet brush, I can rub the brush directly on the graphite stick, and then I can start to kind of draw in the shadow. Okay.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
I'm not touching it, and it doesn't actually. It's actually totally fine, but I mean that's another way to apply the graphite. We know we want the shadow darker, so I'd have to come back. I'd have to really darken it. It would take some time. Graphite is a pencil.
Pencil lead. That's what graphite is.
What method do you think would work best?
Well,
Like put it on there or keep it on there?
Even mechanical.
you have to kind of figure out what works best for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one that I'm going to show you, there's another way, there's other ways. Okay, now let's see. So the next one, we start with it dry. Okay, so I'm going to get some graphite off to the side. I'm going to get my brush, get some water in my brush. I'm going to activate the graphite, and then I'm going to come down, and the paper's dry, and I start to kind of drag it up with it dry. And it's a little different. You have maybe more control, and I keep rinsing and kind of adding. I think I'm just going to pull it like this. Now this one almost kind of looks a little more liney, I think, but I don't know, it just depends on, it just depends.
Yeah, it still looks good.
So that's another way, and if you watch what I'm doing, I'm just trying to kind of manipulate. Whoops, I went outside of the lines. Manipulate it. I'm going to get some more graphite. I'm going to come back in the bottom. I want it to be darker. I'm going to wipe the brush off. I'm going to use the drier brush. You have to figure out how much water and how much graphite you need to have on your brush. And I do a lot of cleaning, wiping my brush, coming back with less water, trying to drag things about, okay, in that way. Now the last way that I'm going to show you, and this one when it dried kind of funky, so I'd probably come back in and try to reactivate it and fix it because it looks kind of weird in the way that it dried.
I'm gonna do a little box where I put my graphite. I could actually use this. It doesn't get spread out.
Oops, where's the pencil? Here we go. Okay, so for the last one, you can take the graphite stick and you can apply it directly to
That's what I was gonna add.
the shape. Okay, and I would only want to put it kind of in the bottom, okay? But I would want to be careful. I want it to get kind of lighter, just the same way we do with our pencil. It's in that crescent moon shape. I'm going to get some water. I'm going to take that water and I'm going to activate it. And then I'm going to actually just wipe that brush off completely. And I'm going to take that dry brush at the top to kind of fuzz out some of that color. And then, I'm going to have to come back in now and add more. So you want to make sure, number one, that you're using water.
Yeah.
Because the water...
I was about to ask,
the
what
water does...
temperature do you need? Like, is it any temperature to activate it?
Yeah, any temperature. I usually just use, room temperature, cold.
What if it was freezing?
I have not really experimented with the different water temperatures, but there's another way, and I would want to come back and
I think with like colder water,
really
it's less pigmented.
fix it.
Because it doesn't like kind of melt.
And I'd want to come in and do my cast shadow, okay? But those are our 3 ways that I have figured out so far. And there probably are more ways to do this. But this is it, and this is what we want to do. And today we're just going to do spheres. And the first one might not be awesome, okay? Probably most likely won't be, as my first one wasn't. And I was like, whoa, geez. So it's taken me a while. I think maybe like that one was my first one.
That looks good.
I've done a lot of tries.
Are we doing it in our sketchbook?
So, no, you guys are going to use some of this darker sulfite paper. Let me stop this recording. So we're just going to do spheres over the whole paper. Just keep adding and adding. Whoops.